Mike, let's talk about Penn State.
Okay.
Alabama. I don't know why I thought this could be a close game. I don't know how I got.
I don't know why you
into it
did
again.
either, Starkey.
I'm
What are you
still
thinking?
Stuck back in 1986 in the Fiesta Bowl. I think they haven't had really been.
So many people are.
I think that's part of the problem. Is you think about the glory days when they would pull out these big wins at home or in a bowl game, and quite frankly, it hasn't happened in a while.
It seems like the glory days are gone. Yeah, it seems like the glory days are gone. At Ohio State in 2008 was a good win. The Capital One Bowl when they beat LSU a couple years ago was a good win. I mean, I think that has been a little bit overstated in some parts of the media, but I know what you're saying. You're not wrong.
And here we are, week 3 coming up, and we're still going to debate which quarterback is in there. Has one emerged? Is Joe going to go with this committee? And do you see one that's emerged yet?
I see one that has quasi-emerged, and it's Rob Bolden, and then not because he's been good, but just because I don't think there's an argument for McGloin anymore. If McGloin was this sort of solid game manager guy, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but he's not that at all. Right. He's a gunslinger who makes a lot of. I think he makes more shaky, risky throws than Bolden does. So I mean, I think it's a no-brainer at this point. Even though Bolden has not really emerged as anything impressive so far, I think you got to go with him for a lot of reasons. One of which is that he's younger and is going to be there longer, and give him the snaps and let him figure it out.
McCoy reminds me of the quarterback from North Dallas 40. Who comes out there, slaps a behind, looks for Nick Nolte down the sideline.
This is the eclectic reference edition of the Low Post.
Yeah,
I like it.
I keep going back to my youth, I think. What I saw from Bolden is a more athletic person. That first drive,
no doubt.
They only got 3 points, but they went for it on 4th down. The play broke down. They covered the man that he was trying to throw it to, and he just went for it, reached across to get the first athletic play. He's younger. Get him out there. Let him get him experience.
I agree. He's not Michael Vick in the sense that he's wiggly and he's going to make guys miss and really acrobatic, but he can run. If there's space here, he can go in that space. There's no doubt about it.
You mentioned about not Michael Vick and athletic. I think they should be catering more plays towards his skill set, though, and I see them running the same old plays. Roll him out and make him a double threat that the defenses have to worry about. They did it some.
Yeah, they do that.
Enough.
I think they will do that more. I don't think that's. I think you're right, but I think they'll address that, particularly if he plays more and more. He played more snaps clearly last week, and I think that's going to be a trend. I think eventually Joe's track record on this, when he's had 2 quarterbacks who were close over the years, he's picked one, whether it was John Schaefer, Todd Blackledge. I mean, remember, look back over the history.
Kisner,
generally, he has picked one, and I think over the long haul of this season, he's going to pick Bolden.
He does need his receivers to start catching the balls. Both of them have had a lot of drops this year. They're not helping him out. Let's talk defense. Devon Still he reminds me of that guy, the big daddy Wilkerson that played for Ohio State.
Yeah.
He's throwing guys around. You mentioned Audrick when we were doing this, Jared Audrick. He's more of a force out there for segments during a game to me.
In the sense that I'm comparing him to Audrick in the sense that he's a defensive tackle who is going to get a lot of attention. He is now going to be double teamed. He is going to absorb a lot of occupy blockers, and they have another tackle, Jordan Hill, kid from Steel High, who is a real good player too. And if teams go overboard with trying to deal with Still, then that's going to free up Hill to make some plays, I would think. And certainly the linebackers, who combined for 35 tackles in the Alabama game, are going to be freed up to make some plays. Their defense is pretty good.
Okay, assess the front 7 to me on defense.
I don't know what you're trying to imply, Eric. I don't know where you're going with that question. The defensive front 7 is pretty good, and the defensive back 4 is pretty good too. Their defense is pretty good. The hope is that the offense can figure it out going forward here.
Jordan Hill, only a 2-star recruit, so I'll give the Penn State coaches, they've coached him up. Temple, what should we expect? They're 2-0 going into this game at the Link down in Philadelphia. For people here in Lancaster, it's a shorter drive than going to Happy Valley. What should we expect from the Aggies?
I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think it wasn't easy last year, 22-13, and Bernard Pierce, their very good running back, who is probably going to be a pro, got hurt in that game. Yeah. Now, I think it's going to be a lot harder for Temple to run the ball this year against that front 7 that we were just talking about. So I still like Penn State to win this game, but this is a season-defining game almost in a kind of a negative way, because if Penn State loses, man, they're on a slippery slope down. But if you win, to some extent, people are still going to say, well, it's only Temple. I think they are going to win, and I think they almost have to win.
They're going to win by 2 touchdowns.
Take it to the bank.